In 1939, I came to Austin to teach elementary school. There was no doubt in my mind where I was going to go to church.
We looked around at other churches, and the reason that we joined was because of the choir.
I joined the church because I had been a Methodist all my life, and this church was closest to the university campus and near the place where I lived, and so it was natural that I came there to church.
We came from Stanford University in 1949, exactly 60 years ago, and we're looking around for a church that would be appropriate. She had a Presbyterian background. I grew up as a Methodist, so naturally we picked the University Presbyterian and the University Methodist as our first churches to look at.
I joined the choir during the days when the church filled up very quickly and there was an overflow congregation in the chapel, and I never got there early enough to get into the sanctuary, and I finally figured out if I joined the choir I would have a seat in the sanctuary.
Well, we went to the University Presbyterian first, and that happened to be the day that they were introducing their board members. And board is the word, B-O-R-E-D.
I was a member, or associate member, a student member in the 1930s, from 1933 until I graduated in 1937. My parents brought me to the university on a Saturday afternoon, and we checked in at the hotel, and they brought me to church the next day before I registered on Monday. So I've been at the University Methodist Church for a long time.
And then I have to mention the music. It has always been wonderful.
What we loved about the church was the music. We've always loved the music, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful for us, and my husband especially. He loved music.
And when we entered the church for the service that day, the choir was beautiful. Archie Jones was the choir director from the music school, and we were so impressed by the resonance of the choir throughout the whole church.
I don't remember my first impressions of the sanctuary, but my love of the sanctuary grew as Janie Bluer and I walked around for about 5 years to be sure on Saturday morning that the things were in proper order, so that when people were coming they would enjoy the flowers or just be glad to come in. It was one of spaciousness. It was welcoming. I think we felt at home.
When I first came as a freshman, I thought the sanctuary was beautiful. I thought the church was very pretty. It was located at the corner of the university, very convenient because I lived in a dormitory and Scottish Rite. And I thought it was so appropriate. It looked so much like a university building. Most students at that time really thought the church was a university building because of its architecture. Then when I came back in '61, it didn't occur to me to stop at a church that was near where I was living. I knew I wanted to come back to University Methodist because of what it was like. It was a great place to be at when you're associated with the University of Texas.
The size was important because we could come in and we could listen, we could participate, but we could also just be ourselves.
And when I came, I must admit, I was overwhelmed. I thought that church building is like none other I have ever seen.
Well, to describe the sanctuary, I believe I would call attention to the beauty of the outside and the stained glass windows when you come in, and the stories of the stained glass windows.
It has changed, and it's a beautiful, beautiful sanctuary. And the glass windows, are stained glass windows, are just beautiful, of course. But and the choir was always had a wonderful position in the church. And we love the church.
The next Sunday, we went to University Methodist Church, and Lena Hickman almost tackled us in welcoming us as we arrived in the sanctuary. And the sanctuary spoke to us, and it felt like our home.
Well, as I said, I had never seen a church building like that. I loved the stained glass windows, the ones in which I had had membership before in Brenham and in Kerrville. Didn't have lovely windows like that. And the people were so friendly. I thought, I've really made the right choice.
Well, it's changed somewhat. It was modernized some years back, and the organ is fantastic now. The choir continues to be one of the very best in the country. We're really impressed with it.
And the windows, the stained glass windows, are so wonderful. Our family used to sit on the right hand as you come in, on the right balcony,
We
and
preferred
always
the
looking
balcony
across at
because
those windows.
We could look down
Beautiful.
over the entire congregation from the balcony.
If I could talk to the architects, I think I would say, see what we have done. You left us a heritage that we have continued to build on and we have restored. And it is, I think, a very important statement of the kingdom on 24th and Guadalupe. I hope that they see it, that we've been stewards, good stewards.
Well, I think they'd like it. I think they'd like it, the improvements that have been made. I think they would appreciate it. And I think they'd appreciate the front entrance now. It's different, but it's beautiful. And I think everybody's going to enjoy it. It's just really a beautiful entrance. And it looks like a church, too. But it's changed. Well, I know one of the builders that worked on that sanctuary, I can't remember his name, but he built our house.
Well, I would like to thank them. I think that we have one of the most unusual churches that I've ever been in, along with a very friendly church. And as I said, I'd certainly like to thank them, and I think they would be very pleased that we've taken good care of it and intend to continue to do so.
Well, I would say here is your church that was founded 100 years ago. We feel that we've accomplished a great deal over these years in preserving your original intent of a sanctuary where everyone would feel a member of the Methodist family, where all would want to linger and visit, and where many from throughout the Central Texas area would look to us for our leadership.
I believe they would be proud of what they did. I think they'd be proud of the way it has been taken care of, and certainly because of our recent renovations. I believe they would be proud to accept the applause of the members of the congregation today.